So good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, September 8th, first day after Labor Day, 2020. Time is 2 p.m. I'm officially calling this meeting to order. Attending are Commissioners Duncan, Brooks, and Filios, and I will ask Michelle if she would please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Whoops. Okay then, so moving on to the consent calendar.
I move that we approve the consent calendar as listed on our business meeting agenda for September 8th, 2020.
I second the motion. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Payables list, please.
I move that we approve the payables for the week of August 31st through September 4th, 2020 in the amount of $575,346.90.
I second the motion. Aye.
Pat Brady.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Do we have any changes to the...
Oh, can everybody mute themselves, please? Thank you. Yes, item 12 has been pulled.
Okay, so item 12 is removed from the agenda. So moving on then to our first action item, approval of grant 3-16-0010-050-2020 airport perimeter fencing for the airport. Stephen, please.
Commissioner Stephen Kiergaard for the record. This is a grant in amount of $558,694. This is for fencing around the north and west side of the airport, so we'll actually finish all of our perimeter fencing. Something that the airport's needed for a very long time, in my opinion. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Questions for Stephen?
My only questions are, I saw a couple interesting things in there about texting and driving. I mean,
That is standard FAA grant assurance language. It's
Okay.
the previous one that we just signed.
Right.
It is.
but is that something that you guys actually do something? I mean, you have like a,
There's a board, yep, that's whoever
okay.
uses it, they agree to it as part of the contract, that they have to follow all the federal guidelines that are spelled out through the contract.
right. Okay. And then who keeps track of the Davis-Bacon wages?
That is TO, our engineer.
TO, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, motion?
I move that we approve the grant 3-16-0010-050-2020 for the airport perimeter fence in the amount of $558,694.
I'll second.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Thank you, Stephen. Item number 2, finalize Armory building purchase with CARES funding or related thereto for the Emergency Operations Center, Office of Emergency Management. Tiffany, please.
Castro for the record. The item before you is to approve us to move forward with utilizing the CARES funding to renovate the Armory building. In order to do that, the discussion has been raised if we are going to purchase the building or not, so that is the decision before you. And Jody, do you have anything that you want to add to that?
Oh, okay. Are there any? Yeah, go
I just
ahead.
want to make sure that it's clear. So building belongs to the county. Dirt needs to be reimbursed to the airport. We have $161,000 going for that
From
first
taxes.
payment for reimbursement. We're going to do a resolution. And then the remaining, we're going to do in the next fiscal year, which may trigger a second appraisal. Thank you. Second appraisal. So, and then the second year funding is still up in the air, but I think I have a good source going forward. So I'm fine with using the CARES Act funding to rehab the emergency operations or rehab it for Emergency Operations Center to move there along with some other tenants to be finalized in the future.
Okay, just to further clarify, Leslie, to your point, $294,000 for the land? roughly 2.4 acres. 161,000 is coming from tax revenue that Stephen gets.
Yep.
That leaves
30.
134,000. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that money is not due right now. We'll be able to, in the resolution, state that it's going to come in the FY22 budget. So October 1st of FY21 is when the second payment will be made for the remainder.
Okay, so what are we paying beginning in fiscal '21?
So October 1st of 2020, which is fiscal 21, is 161,000.
Okay. And we're writing a check for that?
It's a resolution. It's a interfund transfer.
Okay. Question? Bill, you okay? Take it away.
All right. I move that we utilize CARES funding for the Emergency Operations Center at the Armory building.
I second the motion. Aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Thank you. Okay, item number 3, communication site lease, addendum number 1, Mount Spokane State Park, L17500K001, Washington State Parks and Recreation Commission, KCSO 911. Is that Colin?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Colin McRoy. This is a simple communications lease agreement addendum to continue our lease agreement with Washington State Park for our communications site up there at Mount Spokane. A continued 5-year term. And this one is retroactive back to July 1st. They are a little behind on getting these up to date. So signing it does go retroactive back to July 1st. No changes in the terms of the agreement, which with the 3% increase in the lease agreement since the initial signing, this current fiscal year, we will be paying $14,334.42 is what we owe this year, with a 3% increase for next year's rent.
Okay. Questions? Motion.
I move that we approve the communication site lease addendum number 1 for the Mount Spokane State Park, L17500K001 / Washington State Park and Recreation Commission.
I'll second.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Item number 4, request for RBS grant funds, 2 boat motors, KCSO. Lieutenant Higgins.
Good afternoon. We have a little bit of money left over in the RBS grant, and good timing because Boat 2 is one of our main patrol boats. It patrols the south end of the lake. It's got dual Mercuries on it right now, or Evinrudes on it right now, and those engines are failing. They were purchased back in 2013. They were well past their service hours for first responders and law enforcement response, so they need to be replaced. So we're looking to purchase 2 Hondas. It'll match the boat that we just bought. So it'll be the same motor configuration, same control configuration. The total cost is $56,000. Currently, there's $88,000 in the RBS grant that's unspent, and I'd like to move forward with this project. And vendor says that we can get the motors since we'll be invoiced for it.
Nice.
Cool.
And realistically, how many months are the boats not used?
That boat is on the water year-round, so any responses during the winter, it's a main dive platform boat.
Yeah.
So any responses on Coeur d'Alene Lake will be that boat and the sea.
Interesting. Okay, motion.
I move that we approve the RBS grant funds to go to the purchase of 2 boat motors.
I second the motion. Aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Thank you, Lieutenant Higgins. Item number 5, request for reallocation, Partial return of funds, 2020 capital projects, KCSO 911. Colin, 911,
It's
excuse me.
actually Lieutenant Crawford.
Oh, Lieutenant Crawford, sorry about
record.
that.
Thank you, Commissioners. Before you is an opportunity here of a rare thing. In fiscal year 20, we had a capital project approval for a new security camera system at the 911 center. We were later awarded a grant for that project, and so, which ironically just finished up week before last. It was delayed a little bit from the COVID, but that is now up and running. In the meantime, as you're aware of the remodel project, the entire reconfiguration and remodel of the 911 center, we exposed a couple of vulnerabilities in there, and that the remodel created the necessity to put a couple new light fixtures in the 911 dispatch center itself. And also, when we moved all the furniture around, all the nasty stains and other bad, the carpet was installed in there in 2012, so we got about 8 years of 24-hour 365 use on the carpet and everything else. And those two things were overlooked in the original remodel plan. So my request is to have reallocation of that $18,000 for those two projects in particular. The lights, the two fixtures alone were going to cost $1,600, and they would be non-conforming to the rest of the lights within the room. The entire project was listed out at $5,500 to replace all the lights to be the same, now dimmable LEDs for energy and other applications on there. The carpet, I reached out to Panhandle One, it's a special anti-static carpet that has to be put down with special anti-static glue, et cetera, et cetera. Panhandle One did the same project in 2012. Their bid came in at $7,142.05. If I look back onto the math, that leaves a balance of about $5,391.95, which we would like to give back.
Okay, so that's the reallocation?
Yes. Well, it's like in taking the money that was designated for a capital project and use it for another
different-
project.
A different
Yeah, another
project,
important
okay.
project, but it's not, that money was specifically allocated for the camera project, which has been handled by other means.
Okay. Is now being reallocated for the lighting.
Yes, lighting and flooring, these two projects, yes.
Motion?
I move that we approve the request for reallocation with a partial return of funds, 2020 capital projects.
I'll second.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Thank you, Lieutenant Crawford.
Thank you.
Item number 7, agreement with Passio Technologies, CityLink North Regional.
6.
6, forgive me. I just wanted to see if everybody was awake. Okay.
It's Sean.
Okay, approve asbestos survey for the old Armory buildings with Summit Environmental, Inc. Sean Riley for the BOCC.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Sean Riley for the record. Now that we've approved the project, this is a request from Summit Environmental, Inc. in the amount of $1,185 to go in and do an inspection, collect some samples to be analyzed, and provide lab analysis and a written report if there is any asbestos still in the building. We have to get that done before we can do anything else.
Okay, when are they going to do it, Sean? Do you know?
ASAP. As soon as I get off the phone with the meeting, I'll be calling the architect and telling him the project's a go and we need to get Summit. He just lives a couple blocks down the street, so he said he can get on it right away.
Okay, good. Motion.
I move, is it my turn? Okay. I move that we approve the asbestos survey for the old Armory building in the amount of $1,185 with Summit Environmental.
I second the motion. Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Now item number 7, agreement with Passio Technologies for CityLink North Regional Mobility Platform, also known as the Integrated Mobility Innovation Demonstration Program. Goodness gracious. Public Transportation Resource Management Office, Jody Beasy.
Yes, so this is the agreement for the IMI project that, if you recall, we were awarded this innovative project, and so now this is the agreement with Passio Technologies in the amount of $187,500.
Okay, questions? Motion.
I move that we approve the agreement with Passio Technologies, CityLink, North Regional Mobility Platform, Integrated Mobility Innovation Demonstration Program.
Second?
Second the motion.
I'll second that. I'll second your motion.
Oh, you'll second it, all right, go ahead.
You made the motion.
After getting done with that mouthful. I just feel sorry for anybody watching going, what the?
Tina just called you out.
Yes, I suppose I would, yes. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Item number 8, approval for 2020 State Homeland Security Grant Program, known as SHSP, application, Office of Emergency Management. Tiffany.
And this is to seek approval for us to submit the SHSP application in the amount of excuse me, now I can't talk, $205,887. It funds a total of 16 projects that support terrorism efforts countywide.
$205,887. Okay, any questions? Motion.
I move that we approve the 2020 State Homeland Security Grant Program application.
I second the motion. Aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Okay, moving on. Item number 9, the deadline is here. Consideration of the opt-out from the Governor's Tax Rebate, CARES Act dollars, property tax relief funding, and this will be the BOCC, but before we move on, I'm going to open it up for potential comments. Jody, Dina, would you care to comment at this point before we vote, or anyone else for that matter? Opinions welcome, by the way.
I just want to define the funding. It's federal financial, and it's a federal financial assistance, which means that it has federal regulatory requirements, which means it had to go before Congress to be approved as is and as written. And the definition is for you to understand was then provided by the U.S. Treasury. Any other opinion outside of that, I think, is just an opinion, and it doesn't meet the requirements of the intended funding. Thank you.
Dina? Thank you, Jody.
You got my email
Thanks for
this
the
morning.
options, Jody. Never mind. Go right ahead, Dina.
So what Jody said, and you got my email this morning
Yes, ma'am.
about question number 69 on the updated FAQs. I agree with Jody that the definitions that we're seeing from the state lawyer that offered an opinion and from the governor's executive order, in my opinion, don't pass muster. So that's where we're at.
Okay. Any discussion?
Well, it's just an unfortunate circumstance that it looked too good to be true, and I'm thinking it is too good to be true. So, for the amount of rebate given, I don't think it's worth the risk at this point. I think that had it been, a lot more, that might have furthered the discussion. But I'm just really concerned that our future federal dollars will be in jeopardy if we take this and are not absolutely secure in following the Treasury guidelines. So I don't think it's a good thing to stay in the program.
Bill, thoughts?
Now, after reading all the loopholes and non-loopholes and ambiguities, I would agree that we should opt out of this.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with my co-commissioners. I think Treasury has not been totally clear in the sense that we don't, and we've said this over and over, time and time again, that have really not provided anything in writing that provides the assurances that we won't have to pay it back, much less indemnify us against any claims for the grants that we get in the various business segments that we have. Secondly, and this has been brought up before, 30% of our properties or mortgage, properties, I guess you might say, have mortgages on them. Those mortgages have escrows involved. If there's a break given this year, what happens next year? And then finally, if we do have to pay, reimburse Treasury, and I know that our auditor has concerns about it, where does that money come from? If it's foregone, it's going to be a massive hit, and it may not be just foregone, but it could be a potential tax increase next year to boot. So for all the reasons given, for Leslie's thoughts, Bill's concerns, and my own, I also would have to reject this.
And I think I want people to realize that this is our money already. So it's going to have to be paid back on one end or the other. So it's, to take this money now, it's just our children or grandchildren that have to pay for it. This is not free money. It's not anywhere. I mean, this is already our tax dollars. So to take, this program, I think it's just problematic on way too many levels. So if everybody's watching and they want to call later, that's totally fine. I can talk to them about it. But I think the risk way outweighs the reward. And I, for one, have always been a proponent of wanting lower taxes and just doing better with what, the amount that we have. So I move that we opt out of the governor's tax relief program using CARES Act dollars for property tax relief.
I second the motion. Aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the motion is carried. The Board of County Commissioners chooses to opt out of the governor's tax rebate of CARES Act dollars for property tax relief. Moving on to item 10, Resolution 2020-56, adopting the budget for fiscal year 2021. Auditor Dina, please.
Commissioners, before you, you have a resolution, which is the current snapshot of what was published in the paper. This is the budget that you approved on the 26th of August. So with your signature, we will adopt officially in our system the budget. And these are the numbers that will be on our tax L2.
Fair enough. Discussion? Motion.
I move that we, approve Resolution 2020-56, adopting the budget for fiscal year 2021.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the motion is carried to adopt the Resolution 2020-56 for fiscal year 21 budget. Thank you, Dina. Item number 11, Resolution 2020-57, surplus equipment asset deletion, BOCC. Leanna.
We have Resolution 2020-57. This is to remove 5 assets from the County Commissioner's fixed asset list. 5 items that are obsolete and been removed from service. So just seeking your approval for that.
Can I ask just an incredibly silly question? Mm-hmm. Why would we tag a parking lot?
It is an asset.
Okay.
It was an asset when we acquired it, and it's been removed. It's been replaced.
Right. So are all of our parking lots tagged?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, who knew?
Okay.
I'll have to go look for the sticker.
There's no sticker.
Darn.
There's no sticker. It's in a book.
Motion.
All right. I move that we approve Resolution 2020-57, which is the surplus of equipment asset deletion for the Board of Commissioners.
I second the motion. Aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Public comment? Hearing none. 2:24, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.